Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Jim. I thought I'd drop in and tell you guys about a dream I had. Now, I'm not a dreamer, at least not like a lot of these people on the other channels or seem to have dreams every night or every week or all the time. I mean, I have dreams. I just don't have any kind of dreams that I think could be interpreted as being a dream from the Lord. But I had what was undoubtedly a rapture dream about 3 nights ago. And I'll be turning 66 pretty soon. And I have never in my entire life had a rapture dream before. So make of that what you will. And the dream itself was probably only 10 or 12 seconds long. It wasn't big and drawn out, but it was definitely a rapture dream, so I'm going to do my best to tell you what my dream was. I'm not really even sure if I would call it a dream. I never know how to label these things, but it seemed like I was in that state between half asleep and half conscious, knowing what was going on, but it felt like a dream. And I'll tell you why I wasn't completely asleep as soon as I finished with my description of the dream. Okay, this dream, I was running through a field of grass that was about knee high, and there were wildflowers all through it, yellow and red, just pretty wildflowers. Now, in this dream, I wasn't seeing things through the eyes of me running through this grass. It was more like I was about maybe 50 feet up above the ground and probably about 50 to 75 feet to the left of and slightly behind myself running on the ground. In other words, I was looking down from about 50 feet up and from slightly behind on my left side. And I could see me running through this knee-high grass. And it was like I was on a little knoll, a little hill, and I was running along the crest line of it. And I was running full speed, full out, as fast as I could run. And all of a sudden, from behind, it came into my vision, a white horse, a pure white horse with wings. And I've never really felt like the horses in heaven had wings, but this one in my dream did have wings, pure white wings, and it flew in from above the ground, not very far above the ground, maybe 10 feet above the ground, coming into my vision. And it was coming down towards where I was running, and it came right up beside where I was running. And I'm not sure, I didn't actually like see me jump up on the horse. It was more like when this winged horse got right next to me, and I didn't slow up or look up. It just came up behind me on my right side, and as it got right next to me, all of a sudden I was up on the horse with my legs behind the wings, sitting up on the horse. And as soon as I was up on the horse started going up at an easy grade. It wasn't a straight up kind of thing. It was just like it was like you'd see a bird that was on the ground when it first takes off. It doesn't go straight up, it goes forward and up. And that's how it was. This horse came in from the back, got right next to me. Next thing I know, I was up on the horse. There wasn't no bridle on the horse or anything. There wasn't any saddle. It was just this white horse, beautiful white horse. And I was holding on to its mane, riding it bareback, and it flew up into the sky. And the horse didn't break speed to like slow down to let me on, and I didn't break speed running to get up on the horse. It was just almost like it was simultaneous with the horse getting next to me. All of a sudden, I was up on the horse riding bareback and holding onto the horse's mane and looking forward, and I was smiling. And for the first time, I noticed the sky, and it was full of fluffy, like cumulus clouds all over the place. And the clouds were a pastel pink and a pastel blue color. That's the only two colors I can remember, but they just kind of blended like a patchwork of color, these clouds did, uh, in the sky around me and the horse. And then the horse flew on up and out of my vision. And that was the whole dream. Like I said, it probably only lasted for 10 or 12 seconds. But there's no doubt in my mind that that was a rapture dream. I mean, what else could it be? Now, I know some people have dreams that are probably legitimate. I personally have never put a lot of stock in dreams, especially the ones from these YouTube channels and such that seem to have them every day or twice a week or just have them all the time, and they always just automatically know what the interpretation of it is, and it's always something that has to do with the Bible, or supposedly does. But I had this vision or dream or whatever it was myself, so I know it was real, and I have no reason to lie to you guys about it. I mean, there's not very many that even watch my videos anymore, so who would I be trying to influence or impress? Most of y'all have been with me for a long time, and you know I'm not given to exaggeration at all. But this dream happened to me, and I don't know what else it could have been except a rapture dream. And like I said, I've never had one before in almost 66 years of my life, and I never really thought I was going to have one. I figured at this point, if I was going to have a rapture dream of some kind, or any kind of a dream with some kind of a meaning connected to God to it, I figured I just never was going to be blessed with having one. But the reason I said at the beginning of this that I wasn't sure if it would be called a dream or a vision or an open vision or what kind of label you'd want to put on it. The reason I said that is because as soon as this short, intense dream happened to me, my mind was all, it was like I was conscious enough to think in my mind, thank you, Lord, for blessing me with this dream. Now, in dreams, you don't do like that. You just go on and sleep some more, maybe have another dream or wake up sometime later. But just as soon as I had this, I immediately, in my mind, I thanked the Lord for sharing that with me. So make of that what you will. As to whether the timing of me getting this dream or vision or whatever it was being some kind of a clue that we're about to get out of here, I couldn't tell you, brothers and sisters. I don't know. But I do know that considering the shape the world is in right now, and me never even having had any kind of a dream like that at all my whole entire life, I would like to think that it was a sign that he's fixing to come and get us. Now I don't believe he's gonna come and fetch us all off on a winged horse when he comes for the rapture. I think we're just gonna, in the twinkling of an eye, we're just gonna go, be changed and go on with it. But that's the dream I had, guys. And you can make of it what you will. It's just something that blessed me, and if it might be an encouragement to you, then so be it. I wanted to let you know that I had this dream, and maybe it will encourage you to know that we're getting close to the end of it here. Um, I will say this. I think most of you, if not all of you, who would watch this video um, know that Israel is God's time clock, his timepiece, because right after the rapture and just prior to the rapture, Israel is God's focus. And so I watch Israel more than any of the other news that's going on right now. In fact, I don't watch the news hardly at all anymore because it just seems like it's more of the same crap, different day, day after day. I mean, things are getting worse, and the evil and the wickedness are building up to unprecedented levels. So much so that the world doesn't even pay any attention to anything that's going on. It's just like it's normal for them. The unexpected is normal. Things getting worse is normal. And most people are so blind that they won't even admit to themselves that things are getting bad. And then some of them just absolutely are too blind to see that things are getting bad because they don't know the Lord and they don't know what's going on. But we do. We're watching for the Lord's return. And so it's only natural when we see the things that are going on that it tells us in our hearts and in our spirits, this is the end of days. And the end of it is coming up soon. We are in the last season. How long the season lasts is up to God. But there's no way that a child of God can look at what's going on in this world with the wars and the teetering economies about to collapse all around the world. Everything that happens now is all global instead of national or regional. It's all global. Every time somebody gets a bright idea that we need some kind of a new organization, it's always a global organization. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. It's just not like an American organization worried about the economy, and Europe has a European economy and things like that. It's all global, which is exactly what the Bible tells us will be in the last days. It's going to be a global world, a one world. And mankind and those wicked and evil men, I believe that they're demon possessed, a good part of them. You can look in some of them's eyes and just see Satan in their eyes, like that Yuval Noah, Noah Yuval Harari, whatever his name is, with the World Economic Forum. That guy is pure evil, and you can see it in his eyes and in his face. Um, and they're getting very close to getting what they think they want. They think they're getting ready to put that final noose around the world's neck and move into a leadership position with them in charge, and everyone else either needs to be taken out and eliminated or subjugated. But like I said before I went off on that rabbit hole tangent there, I watch Israel, and I don't know how closely any of you are keeping up with Israel these days or not, but Israel is in the worst shape it has been in since it became a nation again back in 1948. They have internal problems, on the verge of a civil war amongst themselves, Israelis against Israelis, trying to overthrow the government with the help of the United States and whatever other one world globalist organizations are trying to contribute to getting Netanyahu out of power and destroying that government. But they have internal problems. They have external problems. Hamas, Islamic Jihad, uh, Hezbollah, and Iran itself, possibly Yemen, are all talking about uh, consolidating their power and combining together to attack Israel all at the same time, all at once. And they've been talking like that for a few months now. And I believe that they're they're just sitting back watching Israel collapse from within. And I think the only thing they're waiting for is to see what happens with the internal strifes, because if Israel is falling apart from within, they're going to wait till Israel destroys itself, or at least weakens itself to the point that gives them a better chance of overpowering and destroying Israel from without. And now they have this normalization process, they're calling it, between Saudi Arabia and Israel. And not just Saudi Arabia, but the United Arab Emirates and I think it's the Arab League, and Egypt and Jordan are all involved in this, trying to get a peace treaty between the Arab nations around there and Israel. But the price tag, apparently, from what I've heard, is that Israel has to finally agree to divide the land and give up their claim to the West Bank. And I've even heard some people say that part of the deal has to be that they give up East Jerusalem as a capital for the new Palestinian state. That those are the conditions for Israel supposedly get peace in their time, in their area. And it looks like, and from all reporting, of course you and me both know you can't believe most of what you hear anymore, no matter where you hear it from, because everyone we hear it from has some other source that they're getting their information from. And I don't think that very many sources are actually putting out what's really going on, but make of it what you will. They're saying that Netanyahu is on the verge of agreeing to dividing Israel and dividing God's holy city, Jerusalem, in order to get peace. In other words, another land for peace deal, which you would think Israel, after being screwed over time and time again on these land for peace deals, would have enough sense not to do it. But it doesn't come down to common sense anymore. It comes down to who's controlling the different governments. And I always respected Netanyahu before, but he's been making some absolutely horrendous, terrible decisions on behalf of Israel for the last few years, starting back around right before when this pandemic came out back in 2020. He's been making bad decisions for the people of Israel ever since then. So I don't know what to make of it anymore, but I do know that if he signs a peace treaty agreeing to divide that land yet again, but especially to divide Jerusalem and give a portion of God's holy city, Zion, to the heathens, then there's going to be heck to pay from God's point of view. And he will not let something like that pass. He will act on that. Every time somebody divides the land, and America should know this because we got hit with Katrina back in 2005, very shortly after we forced Israel back then to abandon the Gaza Strip and give it to the heathens. Right as soon as that happened, we got Hurricane Katrina, and if any of you all are more than, I don't know, 18 years old, you probably remember something about how devastating that Hurricane Katrina was back in 2005. And the Bible is clear that if you divide the land and if you curse Israel, you are going to be cursed by God. And he will have his revenge on anyone that's involved in that. So not only is Israel about to get a whammy put on them, But America is too, because we've been very heavily involved, especially since this Biden regime has come to power. Uh, it's going to come back on this country. Now, don't be mistaken, this country is under a curse from God, and God will bring this country to extreme and harsh judgment in the near future. But he still watches over his children that live in this country. His children are not under a curse, but this country as a country is definitely under God's curse, and it's only going to get worse with what's happening in Israel right now. So, if you're going to watch anything, watch Israel, because what happens with this new peace plan probably is going to be a deciding factor in how soon or how long it takes us to get out of here. Because God's not going to destroy this country that we live in before he takes us out of this country. He's not going to subject his children to judgment. Jesus took our judgment on the cross, and we are covered by the blood of Jesus. So maybe it's like I've heard some people say, when the bombs come down, we go up. Maybe it will be that close. The Lord does have a way of showing up at the exact last second to do what he's going to do. But just watching what's going on, mostly with Israel and the Middle East, I just feel like it has to be sometime pretty soon. We know the Lord's holding everything back for his own reasons right now, and allowing this pot of water to boil, but it's fixing to boil over. And I can't think of any good reason why the Lord would go ahead and let this thing kick in and get started, especially if his nation Israel divides his land yet again, and especially the city that bears his name, Jerusalem. If Israel betrays the God of their ancestors by giving away part of God's holy city, not to mention part of his holy land, then I think that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So keep your eyes open and listen for what's going on with the peace deal that they're trying to work out between the Arab world and Saudi Arabia and Israel. Because I think that's going to be very telling as to how much longer we have to be here. And brothers and sisters, I know it seems like we've been here forever already, but before I leave, I want to remind you, eternity is a very, very long time. In fact, it's a time without end, going on into the future forever and ever, and never coming to an end. And the eternity that you and I, as children of God, have coming is so magnificent, so wonderful, so unbelievable, so amazing, with so much to look forward to, that if we have to be soldiers of the Lord for a little while yet, no matter how bad our situation is individually, God will watch over and keep us, even through these very hard times. So hold on to knowing that you have a glorious eternity right in front of you. It's not going to be much longer. We can see that we're in the season, and with everything going on all at once, we know we're at the end of the last season. How long this last little piece lasts, I don't know, but it's going to be soon. And then all of this, no matter what you're going through, all of this is going to be behind us forever. And as time goes on into eternity, the things that happened in this world are just going to fade from our memories. And it'll just be like a bad dream if it's thought of at all. Because we'll be in the glory with our Savior Jesus finally and forever. Before I leave you all tonight, I want to ask you for prayers for Sister Lena in France, Caroline's friend, that has the thyroid cancer. It's a lot worse than that now. That last doctor that treated her with radiotherapy burned out her immune system, burned her esophagus, uh, caused her bone marrow to stop producing blood. She's having to get blood transfusions every day just to stay alive. And so it doesn't look good. So please keep Sister Lena in your prayers and pray that the Lord will be merciful. If He's going to take her, let Him take her and get her out of her suffering. And in the same way, please pray for Sister Caroline. She's trying to keep up with her own life and watch over Lena and take care of Lena's business on top of her own, taking care of Lena's pets and animals while Lena's in the hospital. And it's just running poor Caroline ragged. On top of that, her father is dying. Her stepmother is getting one of her feet amputated. It's just one big mess, and poor Sister Caroline is having to try to keep up with all of it, bless her heart. So pray the Lord be merciful. If He's going to heal Lena, let Him heal her soon. If He's going to take Lena, then let Him take her soon and bring her on home to heaven and not be in her misery anymore and suffering. That may sound like a harsh prayer to pray, but believe me, it's not. I love Sister Lena, and I want you to know I would pray the same thing for myself or for Carrie or anybody else that would be in that situation, that the Lord would be merciful in whatever way He chooses to be merciful, whether to take her or heal her, but that He not let it keep dragging out and let the suffering continue like it is. Also, please keep Marilyn, Carrie's lifelong friend, in your prayers. Her thyroid cancer is getting worse, and we don't know what kind of time she has left, so keep Marilyn and Carrie and me in your prayers. And Sister Annie in Indiana, she's having some health issues right now, and I'd like to ask you all to keep her in your prayers too, along with my other brothers and sisters that I love so much. Alright, brothers and sisters, I'm going to call this a video. I hope I said something in it that might have encouraged you to hold on just this last little bit of time. We can see the finish line ahead, and we will get there one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, one minute at a time. Keep your head down, be strong, keep your faith in the Lord, and I'll see you all very soon now on that golden shore over yonder. Good night. God bless you.